Do you know that in Big Hero 6, the buttons on Honey Lemon's purse are actually elements of the periodic table? So when she goes into battle, she doesn't just push buttons for a pre-made chemical ball, she comes up with a formula and types it in on the spot. Did you know that in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, when Peter B. Parker is shocked by Miles Morales, his nervous system lights up instead of the cartoon trope of a skeleton, because he feels it? Do you know that in Up, Doug is the only dog to track down Kevin because he's a golden retriever, which is a hunting dog. All the others are guard dog breeds. Did you know that in the Lego movie, Benny the Spaceman has a broken helmet because the original Lego pieces would often break there at the mold line? Did you know that in Ratatouille, in the end credits, broken helmet because the original Lego pieces would often break there at the mold line? Did you know that in Ratatouille, in the end credits, Pixar added a quality assurance guarantee to remind the Academy that they manually animate every single frame of their films, because Cars had lost the Oscar for Best Animated Feature to Happy Feet, which used motion capture? Did you know that in Zootopia, according to the directors, Chief Bogo wears glasses to read documents because real Cape Buffalo have poor eyesight? Did you know that in Mulan, according to Ming-Na Wen, Mulan touches her hair a lot because the animators noticed that she touched her hair a lot while recording, so they added it to her character? Did you know that in Monsters, Inc., Boo tries to give Sully a Nemo doll, Finding Nemo wouldn't come out for another 2 years? Did you know that in The Incredibles, Bob's cubicle is so cramped because it's taken up by a giant pillar? Did you know that for Shrek, DreamWorks would punish animators who failed on The Prince of Egypt by sending them to... Did you know that for Shrek, DreamWorks would punish animators who failed on The Prince of Egypt by sending them to work on Shrek? The punishment even had a nickname, to be Shreked.
Hi guys, my name is Marcel and today you and I are going to level up your anatomy. Like, not your anatomy, rather the anatomy you draw. Like I said, you know, while recovering from, I guess, pregnancy, I thought about how most of you can probably draw a decent basic human by now, but the question is, how do you get from this to that? And the answer is you don't. Sorry to burst your bubble there. There's actually a step between these stages. Most of you told me in my Instagram DMs that you're struggling with actually making your stickman look like a human and less like a, you know, deflated blow-up doll. The problem is you can roughly know how a human is constructed, and you also might know how to draw the details, but this won't help you if you still don't know how to draw correct proportions. And that's why today I'll be teaching you that very middle step in order to help you out a bit. Maybe you guys already read my community post. I've been to a lot of events and conventions, I've prepared artworks for next year and wrote a book. I'm still recovering from a lot of stuff at the moment, but I felt kind of guilty not uploading for so long, so I thought it might be time to finally make a new video, recovered or not. So, with that out of the way, let's finally get started. Now, take a look at this. When I'm drawing a character, I'm actually not drawing them with these basic shapes that first come to mind, like circles and rectangles. I'm using more advanced shapes for this, and that's the key here. When pros sketch out something, instead of just a stickman, they tend to use more advanced shapes. And there is a good reason for that. I mean, just take a closer look. Let's zoom in and you can see how the shoulder, for example, is an in-between version of the stickman and the finished piece. And by already sketching your drawings like this, you only have to add some details in order to finish your drawing when you are using advanced shapes. So as you can see, that's pretty important. Doesn't matter if you draw women or men. So let's start all over from the very basics. I have a basic stickman drawn out here, just like an absolute beginner would draw it. Now, I'm going to show you how to sketch a more advanced version of this stickman in order for you to understand anatomy better. You know, just like the one that I'm personally drawing for my artworks, or for my manga, and basically for everything else. And I'm going to show you each body part individually, just so we can keep things overseeable. Also, the best part is you can draw along if you wanna.
What? Me?
Yeah, you! Now stop asking and let's go. Okay, so let's actually start with the arm. I feel like a lot of people definitely want to improve here. I already teased this earlier, but instead of a plain ball, you definitely want to change the shape of the shoulder to this triangle-like structure. And yes, it doesn't matter if you want to draw someone buff or a skinny person, this is anatomy we're talking about. This applies to almost everyone. Also, drawing these shapes helps you understand anatomy better because this deltoid muscle is also visible from the back too. This knowledge right here can be very powerful if you start practicing with it for a while. The biceps, just like before, is just the same cylinder shape as usual, but the next crucial part is the elbow. The elbow part is usually the biggest part of your arm because many muscles overlap there. And that's why I would advise you to draw the lower part of the arm not as a cylinder, but rather as a triangle. I think this best represents the silhouette of an actual arm. Just remember that it gets slimmer and slimmer. And when it comes to the hand, you can draw however you like. I ain't touching this subject here, that's a topic that I've already covered in another video. Now let's continue with the upper body. Maybe you saw that the shoulder muscles are cutting into your chest. This is basically only relevant if your character is very muscular, but I just wanted to mention it. Also, I think your best bet is to draw the chest angular at first. It feels more like a building block and easier to work with that way. Don't forget, you can always just erase this later on if you don't want muscles on your character. Now, people usually forget this, but there are actually muscles around your neck. And that's why you draw two triangles there. In case you're drawing a child or a fragile looking person, you want to keep these triangles very slim. I mean, yeah, makes sense, you don't want to draw a character that looks completely slim, but when it comes to his neck he's suddenly all jacked up or something. This goes for every muscle, by the way. The thicker and the more detailed you draw those, the more muscular your characters look. Making a character look muscular is a whole topic for itself, but your boy Marcel's got you covered on this. Check out my video on this topic if you're interested in making your character look more lean or more muscular. Now, drawing a torso doesn't seem that complicated at first, but I think many people also have a problem here. At least I had a problem back in the day where I was always insecure about the waist of my characters. Sometimes it just looked too thin, other times I thought the shape looked kinda weird, and so on. I would recommend beginners use this shape in order to learn the spacing between ribcage and pelvis, but this is not a beginner tutorial, so I personally like to add this shape. Those are the lateral abdominal muscles, and drawing it, personally, I think has 4 big benefits. First, you exactly know where your legs are going to start. Secondly, this is a pretty healthy proportion for a stomach, so you don't need to worry if it's too slim or too big. Also, if you want to draw these lines, you only have to trace this part right here. And last but not least, you can finally stop asking about stomach proportions, my god! Oh, and in case you want to draw abs as well, just pencil in this template right here. More details about abs are